Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good day. It is a little chilly in Florida. I think we're topping, 48 right now. Hopefully you guys that live up north are doing well. I am Maria Ripka. If this is your first episode with Stress Busters, welcome. If you are joining live, I hope you are going to have a wonderful day today. And if you are watching the replay, I hope you are having a great day and that you've had an amazing day. I am trying to share today about stress-inducing individuals. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's a little bit of a heavy topic because some of us definitely have people in our lives that cause us stress. So we're going to talk a little bit about what to do with them. And then tomorrow we're going to finish with our whole series, our live episode series, leading into Friday, which is going to be me replying and answering questions and responding to some of the comments for this week's question that I posted in our Facebook group. If you're not part of our Facebook group community, I hope you find a way to join it. It's really a wonderful group of people dedicated to busting the stress, and I'm going to change because I don't want to give it up. We started this journey almost 30 days ago, and I don't want to give it up. So we're going to lead into the next phase, so to speak, and I'm going to ask a question or a topic each week, and I'm going to try to respond, answer questions, give you suggestions. Everyone in the community can do that as well. So I think it's going to be amazing to continue this journey together. I know even though I'm the teacher of the lessons, I'm learning so much. I got, and I said it in the very beginning, when we started this journey together, it wasn't really about me imparting what I know. It's about me sharing what I know and also going on that journey with you. So I've shared along the way some personal stories, and when you teach something or when you're bringing it more to the forefront in what you're doing every day, it actually opens up some thoughts and some ideas. So when I'm in some situations, I now think a little differently. And that's really what I wanted to from this, is to be able to become more aware when that stress response is happening in my body, and hopefully you're becoming a little bit more aware. Now I know it's been very intense with the episodes day after day, and some of you are not even caught up on what we've already done. It's a big commitment each day to watch live or to watch even on time the series, and you don't have to. All those videos are in the video section, so go back and get caught up. We're going to continue this journey together. I hope we continue to add people to the group. With me addressing questions and topics each week, I think that we can continue to be stronger people, busting stress in our life, and really just understanding from each other and from our experiences that we don't have to live with this stress. And if you've watched the videos about the stress responses in our bodies, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous for us. So we want to make sure that we work together to continue that journey. So today I want to talk, though, about our topic. Hello, Janet. Our topic is about people that cause us stress. Now, we definitely know some of those people, right? Some of those people are in our homes. Some of those people are people that we work with. We surround ourselves with a variety of people, and sometimes what they do causes us to question who we are or what we are doing. So we feel that stress or that challenge at times because of something that they've said or something that they've done. A new terminology that people use to refer to people that cause them stress and drain their energy is toxic. There's a new terminology, that we hear. If you're in a relationship with someone that causes you to constantly question who you are and what you do, we sometimes call them toxic people. And people aren't toxic. People are just different, and they have their own stresses. But we have to recognize for our own sanity if that person is causing us to induce stress all the time, or if their actions are causing us to feel stressed. And if they are, we have to think about what we can do to change that. The biggest trick that I have found is trying to determine whether the people that we consider to be stress-inducing are the cause of that stress, Or maybe something in the past creeps up in the situation that is causing the stress. We've talked about that subconscious before, and it's powerful. When we are in a situation with someone and they're talking and bringing up a conversation, or they even say something to us, sometimes our back subconscious thoughts make that situation worse, and we perceive it differently. It might be how we perceive what they're saying more than what they're actually saying. Sometimes it's worth trying to look into ourselves to really see if it's something we can change, especially if we're vested in the person. If it's a person that we really love or we care about and we're vested at the time, we know that time will be well spent because we've already invested so much time. So we have to look at what we are really, how we're responding into those conversations or those relationship moments with those people, and see if we should really put the time in to change that. If we have that history, we sometimes allow that stress response to happen more often than it needs to. So if we have one of those people in our lives that we love and that we're vested in but keeps causing us stress, we have to determine what kind of time we're willing to change that situation. How much time are we willing to invest, and how much energy we have to invest. And we have to be honest with them. We have to tell them if there's something that they're doing that continually causes us stress. We have to tell them what we need and what they're doing that might cause that stress. Remember, though, that being stressed by someone else is still a decision. We are making a decision every time we allow someone else to stress us out. We're giving them value in our life, and we have to make sure that we make that decision wisely. There are some things that we have to let go, and we have to change our thoughts in that moment, because we still can make the decision to be stressed or to not be stressed by that person. Okay, that's really powerful. Make sure if you tell them, though, what you need, that you tell them how it's making you feel. Not that they're doing something or attacking them. You don't want to make it an attack against them. You want to make sure that you say it in a way that, you know, when you do this, this is how I feel. I did that yesterday. I did this with Bernie yesterday. You know, he told me to shut down the garage, or I didn't shut down the garage correctly. And it turned into this intense, stressful conversation. And it didn't need to. But see, my subconscious brought in some background insecurities, and I thought he was, you know, judging me about how I shut down the garage, you know, at night when you shut all the lights and everything. And that went into this really spiraled out of control to this ridiculous conversation. And he was just telling me to make sure that I shut the light off. It wasn't even anything huge, but I blew it out of proportion. And sometimes we have to make sure that what we're hearing from someone else is not being, it's not sometimes what they're saying. It's not them stressing us out. It's how we're perceiving it to be stressed out. And it brings on some more stress. If I had just taken his statement and moved on, made the decision in that moment not to be stressed about what he was saying, then we could have moved on to a really peaceful day. But I took it wrong because of all that thought that I had behind me. And I want to encourage you not to really take people's statements, even if they're just coworkers or friends. We are sometimes so sensitive to what people say that just something that they say triggers a feeling or a memory that causes us to feel stressed. And we have to really make that decision in that moment that what they're saying is not going to change who I am. It's not going to change where I'm going. I have to really make that decision not to be worried about what they're thinking right now. And see, if I had done that with him in yesterday's comment about the garage and shutting it all down, instead of saying, you know, you're rah, 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 it would have been a much more peaceful day. And sometimes we cause a lot of those stressful situations to happen because we are still in the moment not making a correct decision. You have the decision to be distressed about it or not. So how do we stop giving permission to produce that stress? Let's think about that for a minute. First of all, welcome Carmen and Judy. I'm glad you're on live today. We can in the moments when people, and we've talked earlier in today's episode, that there are going to be some people that we're vested in, and that we have to kind of take the time and the energy to try to explain to them how we're feeling in situations. So maybe that their conversations or the way they say something to us doesn't trigger their stress response. But we also have to realize that we have a decision to not allow that stress response to be triggered. And then, of course, there are people that we aren't vested in. There are people that we don't need to waste our energy on. And we have to decide who those people are and kind of wash ourselves of them. In the moment, though, if you're vested or you've decided that you want to work on something with someone, I want you in that moment to try to change your thoughts about that statement or that person. Look for something to appreciate about them. Trading in your expectation of what the conversation should have been to something that you can appreciate about them. See, even when I was pissed yesterday at Bertie giving me this advice on how to shut down the garage, I did try in that moment to change what I was feeling. Like I expected something in that conversation, like maybe his tone could have been sweeter, or maybe he could have, not put so much value on how I shut down the garage. Like, who cares, right? But I did try in that moment to appreciate something about him, instead of expect a different way from him in how he talked to me. So when I changed that time, that in my mind, when I changed that, well, I appreciate that he cares that we're all locked up at night, because it was the back door and stuff. You can lower your stress response by turning expectation into appreciation in the moment. So when your partner or your coworker is frustrating you, I want you to try to think of something to appreciate about them in that moment. And that could reduce your stress response greatly. And then, of course, if there's something that if you're trying to do that, you're trying to either breathe and try to appreciate them for some things that they're doing, and it still continues to be a pain, you have to address it. You have to think about how can they change what they're doing or saying to me that will allow me not to feel that response. And then you need to tell them. You need to tell them about it. You have to protect your energy for those people that deserve it. And in order to do that, we have to be honest, because we're all not perfect. I guarantee that if you're in a relationship, there's going to be energy that it takes to be in that relationship. So dispense it wisely. Pick the people that you really want to spend the time on to really lower that stress between each other. And those other people put away. You want to make sure that you do spend that energy wisely on the right people. And expect to be, if you're expecting after you've spoken a few times to this person and they're still doing the same thing, then make that decision that you're going to not value what they're saying to you anymore, because obviously we value what they're saying, or we wouldn't be upset or frustrated about it. And if we're realistic in what they expect of us and what we are expecting of ourselves, then we will be less upset in a situation. Now, the other end of this stressful relationship sometimes is that there's another person, and that person could actually be stressed as well. We have to decide if we care enough about them to try to lighten their stress by causing less of it for them. Sometimes we are the cause. I had a nice conversation with Bernie after that little blow up yesterday, and I was causing him some stress that I didn't even realize. So if you care enough about that person, you might need to change some of your behaviors as well. And remember, though, that they are on their journey too. That they may be stressed about things, and you can't take that away from them. They have to figure out a way to minimize their own stresses. And you can share some of those strategies that we've learned in this group, or you can direct them to this great community so that they can get on their own journey to busting their own stress. And if you have two people that are a little less stressed in a relationship, then you're going to, and have the same strategies working for each other, then you might have a little better time at it. Now, I know this is a heavy topic because we talked about toxic people, we talked about stress-inducing people, and sometimes it's us. It's us that cause because of what we think about, we cause the situation to get blown out of proportion. But there might be somebody in your life that is constantly causing you stress that you're not really vested in and that you don't really need to spend the energy on. You have to make a decision to not call them, not hang out with them, tell them no. I had a situation the other day, and I'll just say that I advised someone not to do something for someone that's been very, very toxic to them. And we kind of fall back into those old habits when we do make that decision not to allow that person to stress us anymore, and then they reach out to us. We fall into that habit sometimes of trying to pick up the pieces or trying to help, and we have to remember what they've done and not get sucked back into that cycle of giving and not getting and giving and not receiving. So if they're somebody that you have not decided, and that's where the decision-making process comes from, if you're not deciding to vest your energy into them, because it takes energy, then you need to let them go, and remind yourself that that's not the person you want to spend the time on, and you want to spend the time on the loved one that's at home with you, or the sister that you love so much, or the niece that you really think gives back to you. Those are the people, because relationships are difficult and they take energy, and so you want to spend that time with those people. I hope you guys got something out of today. I know I feel like my brain's all over the place thinking about this topic, because while I'm talking to you, I can think of so many stressful people that have come and gone in my life. When I took on different jobs, or I worked with different kinds of personalities, I'm having these visuals of all these different people that have come and gone, and I've had to make some tough decisions that I'm not going to allow this person or that person to control those emotions anymore. That's tough, and they still creep up, and that's where the affirmations and the visualization and spending the time on yourself really helps, because if you become stronger in who you are, there's no way someone else is going to stress you out. It won't happen, because you will be stronger in where you stand and what you believe in yourself. See, Bernie yesterday, he was able to trigger that in me, because I still have some insecurities that I hadn't worked on. So I still have them. And if you work on yourself with your affirmations and your visualizations and really saying what you want and who you are, it's not going to be easy for anything that they say to disrupt that, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? I know, again, I'm all over the place. I'm visualizing people coming in to my mind right now that really have stressed me along the way. And in preparation for what I was going to share with you, I thought, well, there's the people that we want to invest time in, and there's the people we don't. And then the biggest takeaway I want you to walk away with is that you still have a decision in that moment to be stressed or not stressed by that person. You have to make that decision. Change the expectation you have of the other person. Like you expect them to be a certain way or talking to you in a certain way. Turn it into appreciation. Appreciate something about them. It helps to reduce the stress response. And then, of course, if there's something that's ongoing, talk to them in a way that doesn't attack them, but talk to them in a way that tells them what you need so that you don't have the stress response. It could be just as simple as that. Say, I know you're right about what you're saying to me, but when you say it, for some reason, I get frustrated. Can you just not say it in that way? Or can you wait till, after 10 in the morning to tell me what you're thinking? Because I feel when you say something to me before I've had my coffee, or whatever you need from that person. You don't want to attack them. You don't want to say, when you do this, you do this. You just got to tell them what you need. And that takes some time in your own thinking and processing what you think you need in order to share it with them. So, all right. So we have people that are toxic or stress-inducing individuals. Decide if they're worth the time. Decide if they're worth your energy, and then figure out in the situations where they stress you out whether you are going to decide to let them do that or not. Change the frustration or the expectation to an appreciation or a thought of appreciation for them. That will reduce it. And then also tell them what you need. Okay? We're hoping that's wrapping it up. Now, I'm not seeing any comments or questions. There could be the lag. Do you guys have any questions or comments for me? I'd love to see if anything pops through. Say hi if you're on. Can you guys see my little boo-boo I got on my forehead? This was another lesson yesterday. Stressful. Bernie told me to throw away something we weren't using. While I'm waiting to see if anybody says hi or comment, Bernie told me to throw away something we weren't using. And of course I was like, oh, I tried to control it. I was like, no, I don't really want to throw it away. So I tried to hide it. I tried to put it in a closet up high. It was these popcorn holders. They're like very small popcorn holders. This is like one of those off-topic subjects. And we've used them with the girls. They've had sleepovers and give everybody a little bit of popcorn. But we haven't used it in years because we just get a big bowl now or 2 bowls. And so he has to move it every time he unplugs our microwave. Our microwave's a stressful situation. So he has to unplug the microwave to reset it. It's crazy, but the popcorn tin, the holders are in there. So he has to move it every time. He's like, just throw them away. We don't use them. So I accepted that, and then I went to put them away because I was going to hide them. Put them in another closet and hide them. This is the conversation we had yesterday about clutter, right? So I was going to hide them, hoard the popcorn holders. And so I put them up on this top shelf in the laundry room, and they fell. One of them fell. I had them kind of angled and fell and hit my head. As soon as it happened, I was like, this was not the right thing to do. I don't need these. This is clutter. He told me to throw them away. So I did. I threw them away after I got the bruise, after the boo-boo. Sometimes we try to control situations, and really, it's not in our best interest. Who cares? They were not necessary to keep. And I'm excited today. We're going to work on the girls' office. We're going to do the box up strategy, box it up, and then we'll see what we need. In a week or 2, we'll take 1 box at a time. So I hope you guys did that, did some planning for that as well. So, all right, I'm not seeing any comments. So if you guys are commenting, no worries. I will get to the comments. I will always go back to the comments and the questions. So throw your question into the comments if you have somebody stress-inducing in your life and you want to talk about it. If you want to really work it through, we could help in this community, or you could private message me, and I'll be happy to help you a little bit with some more in-depth strategies than the episode carried. But also remember to go back to that question of the week and either put down, I think the question of the week today says, what in these episodes have you kind of gotten woken up by? Like, is it clutter? Is it stress eating? Is it the stress response? One thing that maybe you kind of didn't know that you learned? And do you have any questions, or do you have any comments about anything you've experienced? I'd love to see those. I want to respond to them. I want to answer questions on Fridays to the question or the topic of the week, so that we don't have to stop this group. I want to keep it going. All right, guys, it's a beautiful day, even though it's a little chilly, so I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me.